everybody? It is your favorite everything. This is JR Wizard. I'm here with my co-host, the independent male T-Dub.
What's up?
Wow. Give me a second. I don't know where this audio is coming from. That is so weird.
Oh yeah, you kind of frozen on
I
my
don't know
side.
where that's coming from. Okay, there we go. That was so weird.
And you're back.
Yeah, I usually be cutting off the audio before that has a chance to even kick in or have it muted, but I didn't have it muted this morning, man. But anyway, this is JR Wisdom coming in with the Wisdom Morning Show with my co-host here, QT Dub, Mr. Watts, the independent male. You guys see it here. And this is a beautiful Friday in the beautiful city of Atlanta, Georgia. What's going on, brother? How you doing over there?
I'm doing pretty well. Up here on the north side of things, up here in Cobb County in the Smyrna area. Looking lovely today. It's probably going to warm up later, but it's fine right now. And it's Friday, so you know what I'm saying? What is there to complain about?
Yeah. What county was that again?
Up in Cobb County, aka Snob.
Up in Cobb County, huh? And I'm in Fulton County.
Yeah, you're in Central Fulton.
Okay.
See, I think you got you a nice geography lesson this week. You realize how long north and south Fulton goes. It's big. Yeah. It's a large county.
All the way up to Alpharetta, all the way down to, you said
Fairburn, Union City.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peachtree City.
Whenever they say I'm from South Fulton, that's what they mean, huh? Okay. Very interesting. Shout out to all my folks from ATL and the surrounding area. You know, all these other places that's 100 miles out that they still considering Atlanta.
Hey, it's the Metro, baby. Matter of fact, shout out. Let us know where you watching and listening in from this morning. Give us your area in the ATL and give us your area in the country altogether. You watching from the Northeast. What's up, son? You know what I'm saying? You up early in the morning on the west side. Let us know what's happening.
That's right. Yeah, like you said, drop your age, location, sex, gender, all that good stuff, so we know where you guys are checking in from. Housekeeping rules as usual, guys. When you're coming into the chat, no matter what platform you're on, hit that like button, hit the subscribe or follow button, no matter where you're at. Subscribe to the Independent Males channel, which is tagged. If you're on YouTube, it's tagged in the description. You know. Also, this is a live call-in show, a live morning show. We'll be discussing a variety of topics. And if you have an opinion on it, please feel free to call in. It's pinned in the chat in blue. Or if you're on Facebook, it should be at the top of the chat. You know what I'm saying? By author. So feel free to click that button, call in, express your opinion, thoughts, questions, all those things like that. You know what I mean? And if you're interested, drop a comment below. And all super chatted comments will be highlighted, as you can see below. So, is that on my side or your side?
No, it's my side. I'm
okay.
Get the link off of here. Cut everything off.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, it's a beautiful day out here, man. It's the forecast today. You know, right now it's like 69 degrees, but it feels like it's 76 degrees outside in this beautiful city of Atlanta. You know, it's supposed to, I don't know why the forecast is saying cloudy all day. You know, there's really no clouds in the sky in the background, but we're going to have a high of 80 degrees today, which I'm assuming is going to feel like 84 or 85. 20% chance of rain at 6 p.m. this evening, you know, and then once again at almost midnight, another 20% chance of rain. So that means hopefully we're not gonna be looking at any rain here in the
they ain't gonna that's not gonna mess up y'all club at night.
Yeah,
y'all good.
Exactly, you know, so you don't have to wear your bonnets out.
Yo, Henry County, check it in.
Henry County.
Down on the south side. What's happening with you?
Yeah.
Look like what's up, Don? What's up, Don? Representing that NC. We see you.
Oh yeah, 30. I was like, what is that? Is that a code? But he got 31 NC, man. But
yeah,
man. You know, obviously we did a show on Monday. We covered a few things. We were talking about some stuff, but we are also, this is Mother's Day weekend. You know, I just had to think about that this morning.
Yep. Yep.
You know, shout out to all the mothers, all the single moms, particularly.
Salute.
You know, salute to the single moms. Hopefully you guys get some good brunch this weekend after church or before church, wherever it is that you're at. Why that face, man?
because I'm trying to see if this was a genuine shout out or not. It seemed like it might be, but you know, I don't know. You went with the single. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But on the real, I'm like, shout out to the moms out there, the all around moms, the wives, the pillars of the community. You know, the ones that, AKA, they, you know, some people will call them slaves. Shout out to those ladies, like my grandma and stuff. Shout out to them, like seriously. And this is a serious shout out. I'm being for real to the single mother that really does try her best to do what needs to be done. And I'm not talking about just with mouthpieces.
Right.
You know, some of us do get together young, you know, in marriages or whatnot, and they don't work out. You know, there's various reasons, you know, why single motherhood comes about. But those that really do try to put in the effort, those that really do understand that the, you know, the male influence is important in the kids' lives, and don't do all of that playing games with, you know, visitation and stuff like that. Really shout out to them. And I know, you know, from an aspect too, though, Mr. Wisdom, because you've done it longer than I have. I've been on the quote unquote single dad side of things by choice, you know, this last 3 years. And shout outs. If you're doing everything, shout out, man. Like seriously. Seriously, mom or dad, if you're doing it all, shout out to you this weekend and next month.
Mm-hmm. Celebrate yourself, baby. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna jump right into this QT dub, man. You know, there's been you know, we got some controversial stuff, I guess, for lack of a better term. You know, a lot of stuff has been going on in the airline industry with planes and stuff like that. And we have this one in particular that, you know, I seen it before you sent it to me, and I know this is a crazy one here in itself. And there was an update that I saw yesterday, but it's about these frontier agents, man, who you know, I'm gonna just play the clip. Let's just go ahead and jump into that.
Run the clip.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and definitely run the clip here, because this is a wild one, and basically how just shows you how some folks conduct themselves, and you know, it's and then let's go ahead and run it, man. All right, so this thing right here, these two, I don't know what city it was in, but we're gonna run the audio here. And
on your flight, and you thought you was gonna get on your flight, and you thought you was gonna get on your flight, and you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your flight.
Because it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly.
You were about to let me check in. You were about to let me check in, and you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal space.
You're
This
in
is
my
not your personal
This
space.
is my stationery.
This is not
I'm at
your
Frontier.
personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
We ain't gotta worry about it. We ain't gotta worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it. You're literally not doing your job for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket and they are not letting me check in. For no reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we will help you out and have you not fly the airline.
I've already bought a ticket. I've literally already bought a ticket, and this is your reaction.
The Mayday flight, you did, and you think you're gonna check me in? I bet you we won't.
Okay? I paid for a ticket.
And you
Yeah,
paid
I paid for a
$25 for
ticket.
agent assistance, and you check in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just
And you
said
thought
that
you
I.
was gonna get on your flight.
I
And you
just
thought
said
you
that
was gonna
I
get on your
would
flight.
pay the
And you thought you was gonna
$25.
get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your
Come on,
flight.
man.
And you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your
Because
flight.
it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly
You were
on
about to
Frontier
let
Airlines
me
again.
check in. You were about to let me check in,
Oh,
and you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company.
So, brother, me, this thing doing this auto adjustment, I'm looking like it's nighttime up in here. But anyway, you know, this is one of those things where you had other content creators saying that this is the usual suspects when it comes to this type of behavior and professionalism when you're working for a company. And I know you probably did your background research on this, but for those of you who probably don't know, and this is before I get your opinion, he checked in. What is it? Usually 45 minutes you have to check in before the flight, right?
Yeah.
And depending on the airport, I know it's the bags definitely it varies from airport to airport, but it's usually 45 minutes just for you to check in, not your bags.
Yes.
The bags has to be depending on the airport.
It could be an hour as far as the bag is concerned.
Right.
But you as the human, yeah.
So he was there 30 minutes prior and was trying to check in, which is usually the manager has to make an exception. I think because I've gotten there late sometimes. And they were like, well, no. Then they were like, well, let me ask my manager because they have to override it or something like that. And that's usually in terms of the bag. Yeah. Not me. I've normally checked in 24 hours prior. But the bag is a different situation altogether. So in this case, Buddy showed up 30 minutes and she said that I can help you, but it's going to cost $25 for this agent fee or whatever, right? And to print out a ticket. Now, I know way back in the day, like early 2000s, I think if you lost your ticket, this is before all this digital stuff on your phone, they would make you pay for the ticket to print out another ticket. I know with that, but now, Frontier, if you guys have ever flown on Frontier, and I just did a video recently about the super thick chick who she was wearing that outfit, yeah, wouldn't let her on. Frontier isn't the best customer service wise, and they have all these fees for everything. I think if you want to wear socks on the plane, you got to pay extra fee. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. They charge you. They itemize everything. I've flown there going to Mexico. I think that's the only time I've flown on Frontier was going to so there's no number. Just like a lot of these places, there's no number, and even to get on the chat, it's all these different things. So what did you see? How did you feel initially when you saw that clip?
All right. First, shout out to DWC. Jason in the building, DWC, what's happening? Oh yeah, dear woke question. Here's my thing. If it was a soccer match and I got to be the ref throwing up cards, I would have to issue the customer a yellow card for being tardy. He was clearly too late for the flight to be checking in. Right. Yellow card. But I'm gonna have to hand the red card to the customer service reps. Because although he was late to be checking in, the way they communicated and handled the situation was it was below board. It was, to the point of antagonizing the customer. It's one thing to give him information and be like, this is where we are right now. Maybe I can get a manager and see but I'm not authorized. There's ways to communicate, and we all know how to do this when we want to. But to be, and you thought you was gonna check in. You thought that's what make me check in then. Make me check you in then. See, exactly. And see, that is the part that gets you the usual suspect comments. That is the part that makes it to where people like me are not going to be able to wholeheartedly rally behind you, because all of that was extra. Now, and then my thing is, when you switch the roles, then all of a sudden you get it. Yes. So let me, and I hate to be this way, but if you were going down to try to go get some WIC vouchers, and that was the response you got from the window, then how would you feel?
And they be doing that.
You thought you was gonna get some cheese, didn't you? Yeah. You thought you was gonna get some milk
and some peanut butters. Yeah, go ahead.
but I'm just saying, how would you like that? What up, Seattle in the building? What's happening? Northwest. Some of that coffee. I'm up here messing with Dunkin'. Let me get some of that Starbucks.
Mm-hmm. Get some of that Starbucks. Yeah. Nah, I agree though. Most definitely. That's
my man was late, but that was extra, and then you just put all of us on blast with your performance at damn Frontier. Thank you for that.
So, in other good news though, they were fired. Yeah. So they definitely were, and I don't think they had any choice but to fire. With that type of behavior, that was definitely childish.
I have a follow-up question
of a gate agent. You know what I mean?
Do you think? Have you seen any backlash about their firing?
I just saw it. Scrolling through Instagram, I saw like an update, which is probably I could probably go on here and find it. But I'm pretty sure it's probably on the same neighborhood thing, man. Let me check that. Let me check.
Because I was just wondering if the masses overall are like they shouldn't have been fired. Because I hope they're not doing that. I hope most people are like, no, y'all were out of pocket, so start over.
Let me write
That's
something
a good
down.
point, Derwin.
Y'all hit that like button, man. It's only like 15 likes for some reason, man. Which if everybody in here should be hitting that like button. I'm trying to find it. Because I
should
saw
be
it.
training videos.
What's that?
They should be training videos.
Yeah,
this is what you don't do.
Conduct yourself in this way. I was just scrolling down. Okay, Frontier okay, there we go. So we can check some comments if you'd like to on this thing here.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's
check some comments on it. Okay. So Frontier workers who antagonized man who arrived 30 minutes late for his flight was he 30 minutes late or was he, I think they worded that wrong because he wasn't late for his flight. He just was late as far as checking in.
As far as checking in.
He was 15 minutes late checking in. But all that attitude and bassinet for what is that? Your job is customer service. Good luck, sis. You thought inflation too high to be unemployed. Cooked her ass. Unprofessional and tacky. Silly. Whatever happened to customer service? Woo! When they saw him recording, soon as his phone went up, I would have said, "1 moment, sir. Let me see what I can do." Exactly. Yeah,
bro. Did we say that?
Yeah.
That's what he should have done from the get-go.
Phone went up. Yeah. You was done, man. The way you was conducting yourself. Then you had the old lady in the background walking back and forth, trying to,
like, I don't see nothing. I'm just gonna use this computer. I don't know what y'all are doing. I saw it.
Well, she was like, she should have told him, like, yo, she just walking back and forth, but she was like, I'm staying out of it.
Yeah.
And you thought you was gonna keep your job. This giving Soul Plane Monique now.
Dogs. Good job. I can't believe I didn't think of Soul Plane.
They both wrong. They didn't have to act like that. Come on, totally unnecessary unless there's more to the video. But for real, if I showed up to a flight 30 minutes before it took off, which means it's already boarding now, you can't expect them to hold the plane for you. Now her personal space, the unemployment office. Damn.
Oh,
that is crazy how they said my personal. You violate my personal space.
That was crazy.
That was
on the other side of the counter.
Exactly.
But it's nice to see that overall the comment section is like, no, y'all got what y'all was supposed to get.
Yeah,
that was too much.
It didn't really come to their rescue on this one.
And they shouldn't have. It gives them a little bit more validity when you don't just blindly support everything. That shouldn't have been supported.
Yeah, trying to find a way in there to do that, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we got another one here, bro. In Revel, we kind of touched on that. Pause. We kind of spoke on when the Asian guy had followed some bros out because they didn't leave a tip.
Yeah, the tipping.
This restaurant and when you think about these things here, which before we get into the clip, I'm gonna just play it, man, because I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to just be like
going into it before the context of the video.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
And I actually hadn't seen this one. I just knew of the headline, so I'm curious to see it myself.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and run this here. go ahead and unmute this joker.
Between us and them, why didn't they pay first?
They didn't have to pay their food.
That's all we're asking. Could you answer that question, please?
They didn't have to pay their food.
So you guys are discriminating pretty much.
So why didn't they have to pay?
No, so why?
But they didn't
why
pay.
Didn't they pay first? Why didn't they pay first? Why do we have to pay first and they didn't pay first? Could you please answer that?
I ate here before.
Could you just answer that?
They didn't have to pay first last time you ate here.
I ate here before, and I was with my girlfriend, and we ate here, and I paid after. So why do we have to pay now? We could pay. That's the thing, but we feel like you're obviously feel some type of way for us to give us the check before we eat.
You think that we're gonna not pay?
That's what you think.
Sometimes we need to pay first.
No,
Sometimes.
it's not no sometimes.
Why sometimes?
We just something.
Why?
But why?
Man,
We want to know why.
is it because we're black?
No, don't worry. We almost
okay.
like 80%.
No, it's
Okay,
okay.
so do you think that we're not gonna pay because how we look?
No. We just
So
don't.
okay,
So what's the
Miss,
difference between
hold
them?
on. Miss, why didn't they have to pay first?
So just pay first and then it's same.
Okay, so you're the manager, right?
No, the manager not here today, but we are in the charge. Yeah, we gotta make a pay first.
No, but what's the difference? Because they didn't pay first is what we're trying to say. So what's the difference between us and them? Why didn't they pay first?
They didn't have to pay their food.
That's all we're asking. Could you?
Okay, so enough of that right there. So these guys were wondering why they had to pay first, right?
Mhm.
And typically, you know, and you've dined at enough restaurants, me too, right? So typically, a lot of times when you are getting it to go, you know, you pay up front before they give you your food. It's not the other way around, right? They normally don't give you your food and you pay when you're getting it to go, which I guess is kind of obvious, right?
Yes.
But
So
when you
we're
dine
talking
in,
about the sit down experience.
yeah, when you sit down and you dine in, you typically, well, sometimes, because you could still be ordering your food at McDonald's and still have to pay first, right? Or any other restaurant.
Yeah. That, and that's why I said sit down,
Yeah.
dine in. Yeah. Not
Right.
fast food.
So they're wondering why we have to pay first because they saw these girls over there that didn't have to, right? Now, how would you feel about that? If she had, and obviously they start rolling the camera, seems like they're already sitting down or whatever. How would and you don't know the exact particulars other than them sitting down and not getting their food first? What are your thoughts on that if they asked you to pay first before, if you were dining in?
It's so funny because Dear Woke Christian just put it in the comment section. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting ready because the thing is, when you heard the video, my man said he had been there before with his girlfriend.
Right. He did.
And they had the traditional dine-in experience where they got their check at the end of the event. And who's to even say if the girlfriend looks like him or not? She may not have. Okay. But then he's back there with his friend that looks like exactly like him. And all of a sudden we have to pay. We got to prepay for our dining experience. Yeah, I'm done. Like, unless I'm just wanting this for content, I'm out. Because they're not going to tell you exactly why they did it. So it's no reason to even start with the interrogation.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what, you can keep this piece of check and the fried rice and all this other stuff. And we're just going to continue with our evening.
Just keep it moving.
Yeah. In that instance, I mean, because again, everybody's eating at restaurants. We know how it works when you had to sit down, unless you went to the Golden Corral or something. You're not at a buffet.
Right.
Yeah, so exactly, Purple. You ought to pay for the disrespect. No, thank you.
Yeah, pay for the disrespect. Exactly.
Yeah, thanks, Purple.
Yeah, so
chaos.
Guys, if you're just now joining in, if you're in here watching this, you know, we're starting this morning show. Hit that like, man, this sounds too much like begging. You don't have to like nothing, man. All y'all 30 people continue to stay in here. That's the cutoff, I guess, for my channel is 30 people on the live stream. You know what I'm saying? So
you go stay on YouTube neck on that one, ain't you?
yeah, because it's crazy, man. It's crazy that I got almost 350,000 subs, and this thing drops down to like 15 people. I don't think I'm that boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. Like right now, it's at 26. That don't seem strange to you?
I just don't think YouTube knows you as a live streamer
Yeah,
yet.
man. I bet if O'Shea,
like, I don't care.
I'm just giving you an example. Somebody like O'Shea, right? Or who doesn't go live. He could go live right now, and he would have a few hundred in there easily. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that this is YouTube. If you're listening, I don't think it's a coincidence. That this thing just stays at, and this is including let me see here. We got 1 on Twitch, 6 on Facebook, and 20. Excuse me. There's only 20 people on YouTube. Yeah. Show must go on though, man. It is what it is. Yeah, I got another clip though, man. I'm gonna bring Jason on here shortly. I'm gonna play this clip though, man, because I thought it was kind of interesting, man, and how one of these guys this guy in particular keeps getting airplay for some reason.
Who's this?
You're about to see.
Okay.
Be clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a country that should be.
What do you mean your country?
Because I'm white and my.
What, there are no black people in American history? Is that what you're saying? That they've all just landed in America, invading your white country? Is that your position?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they were brought here technically.
My God, do you understand how dumb you sound?
This is stupid. This is stupid and racist. And at some point, we have to ask ourselves, do we want to reward this kind of disgusting behavior by platforming it?
I don't disagree, Mark. Listen, I didn't know she was going to say that. I don't disagree with you.
No. Yeah. I'm with you. I don't think you knew ahead of time. I'm saying at this moment, someone who's saying technically black people brought up. No, technically Africans were stolen, enslaved, and they built this country. And the idea that you can justify calling a baby the N-word by saying that white people are losing the country is absurd. It's morally bankrupt, and it's honestly besides the point. I mean, all these are just distractions from the fact that she wants to justify dehumanizing and even animalizing a small black child. It's disgusting.
What is it?
Yeah, I never said that.
No, you may as well have done because you're just an unashamed,
that's the implication of
proud racist. Let me bring it.
Here's the thing. White people have been under attack for years. It's been systematic racism. As much as black people and people of color want to talk about systematic racism in the United States, it's quite the opposite. They get preferential treatment when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to getting into colleges. White people, on the other hand, have been getting attacked relentlessly. Look at 2016 and BLM and all the riots. We just had to sit back and watch people burn down our cities and do nothing about it. So the way to fight back against essentially this anti-white hatred that's been systemically, ingrained in U.S. society is with white unity. We don't see white unity on
Hang on. Okay, but hang on. Sorry, just to be clear, this has got nothing to do with anything you just said. This is a disgusting racist woman who repeatedly spews the N-word, first at a young child and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We are talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. And so I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything you've just said. She's just a racist. And isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
it is about her
coming together and supporting another white person. And it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in the country.
That's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. She is. I mean, would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would.
I do quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist, are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Well, if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. Okay. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist. Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a...
Okay, so I played enough of that there, and I know that this conversation could go on and on, so I'm just going to get straight to it because this is you got a few different layers, and her perspective on freedom of speech, and you guys are probably familiar. I don't remember. Was it Shiloh, the young lady?
Shiloh Hendricks, yeah.
Yeah, Shiloh Hendricks, with the calling the little boy the N-word and her having a GoFundMe or something like that and raising money and, support and whatnot, and freedom of speech goes into this. I guess, and I didn't play the rest of the clip on there because that was it. It doesn't show the actual point when Pierce basically dares her to say it on the air, and she wouldn't say it. And Mark Lamont Hill, who's not the fresh and fit guy that you see there, Amru Fuddle. It wasn't Amru Fuddle. It was a guy in the middle. Mark Lamont Hill. He basically goes off and loses it. Say, how dare Pierce dare her to say this in front of a black man? You know what I'm saying? Basically encouraging her racism, for lack of a better term. But I guess the question I have for everyone here is, should racist epithets and racial slurs be included, fall under freedom of speech? And should anybody have an issue with that?
You talk. Can I jump in?
Yeah, I'm asking either one of y'all.
Oh, I appreciate it. I think that they fall under the freedom of speech. However, I think the onus is on. I'm going to come from a Christian perspective and argue that the problem is that woman, Shiloh Hendricks, she has a problem, and the problem is not racism. She has and that woman that we just talked to, just saw on Piers Morgan.
Right.
Matter of fact, everybody on that panel has the same problem, and it's not racism. The problem is that they're sinners, and she hates other people. And therefore, if me and Quentin talk regularly, and I consider him a friend. I consider JR a friend. We've talked as well.
Right.
because I'm your friend and I care about you and your well-being, I'm not deliberately going to do something that's going to that you're going to find problematic.
Right.
Just because because I appreciate you all as my friends. Now, because I am a Christian, I take that to the next level. If JR has a sensitivity to, somebody calling them out about a particular topic, then I know it's my responsibility to not go above and beyond, even if I feel like I have the liberty to say the word. I can't go above and beyond to offend JR because that's not appropriate. And so the young blonde woman, and as you said, there were a lot of layers to that thing. There was it's like a salad bar. Like they were just piling food on. Like, dang, I want to talk about that. And they just kept piling on.
Right.
But that woman right there, she's got a problem. She's got a problem. And again, the problem is her sin. But also she does have an argument about, white solidarity and whatnot. We can have a conversation about that. I have no problem having a conversation about white solidarity or people of less melanin being unified. Okay, fine. We just don't have to insult the highly melanated to do it.
Yeah.
Just because you have the right. And I'm sure Marlon from Fresh and Fit, he proves why they demonetize and why they're worthless.
Right.
Because he's going to say some crazy stuff in there. And I'm like, I don't even like Lamont Hill. I agree with him a lot of that in that exchange, because I'm like, some of this was just above and beyond. And it's almost like, I have the freedom of speech, but I'm going to take my speech to the bombastic level and just be antagonistic. Let me call out Quentin because he got glasses. Let me call him out because he got that Umbrella Corporation hat on. I'm just going to keep prodding and picking. I don't have to do that. And so that was just my little quick summary, but go ahead.
Right. What you think, QT Dub?
And I think you got me on it for a Friday. And the reason I say got me is because I completely stayed away from this story. I saw it about a week or so ago, and the only thing I saw was lady raises $700K in GoFundMe for calling kid N-word.
Right.
And I immediately went Friday. Nope. You know what I mean? Because I know, as DWC is say, I know the trick bag in the layers that it could end up opening, and so I had seen and heard none of it until just now.
Right.
Well, it's JR's fault.
Yeah, and my thing is, to answer your original question, yes, falls under. I think it should fall under freedom of speech. And if that's what people want to say, then they should say it. They should say it so that the rest of us are aware. Because I'd rather you not move in silence and just blend in with everybody. I'm like, no, go ahead and let it be known.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave it at that. The only other thing I'm gonna add is when you watch stuff like that, it sometimes makes some certain things not seem so crazy anymore. Like why the economy was so important back in September, October, leading into November, and now it's not. Stuff like that makes sense when you watch these videos. It's because some of this stuff with these people were never about any of these issues. It was all about making sure they maintain or take their country back, or et cetera, however it is you want to phrase those terms.
Yeah,
that's what most of this stuff is about. And they'll just use certain convenient political topics at the time to act like that's what they're concerned about, but it's not. It's not. Same thing with this birthright. They want to get all of these babies up, not for the sake of babies or for the sake of preserving life. It's for the sake of making sure we stave off being a minority for as long as humanly possible. And when you see that stuff right there, you get it.
Right.
She said it out of her own mouth. This is our country. Our. And they'll put flags on their cars, flags all over their homes, and act like they're patriotic, and they do not love this country. They love their segment of it.
Yeah.
You're a veteran. You fight for them to do that. I fought for them to do that. You have the right to do it, but let's stop pretending about what this is about. So I want them to exercise their free speech. Come forth and announce thyself, please.
Great.
I'm
with you.
Yeah. And I wanted to add more context to that because as I said, and I'm not, and even if I did have that video, I'm not gonna play it anyway. So Pierce encourages her to say it, and then you will see Amru Fuddle, aka Myron.
Can you tell me why you call him that?
That's his real name, Amru Fuddle. His real name is Amru Fuddle.
Stop.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So he holds up a prop gun that has the N-word on it when and has it on the screen. You know what I mean? So which I thought was corny anyway, you know, how he did that, and the fact that he keeps getting the platform even though he's been demonetized. And I'm not making this about this, but you know, you have two extremes of black men, for lack of a better term, you know, with Mark Lamont Hill and then Amru Fuddle, you know, who you can 100% chance he didn't grow up around black people. Just how he conducts himself, you can tell he doesn't. He didn't grow up around black people, or in a black neighborhood or anything like that. Just in his Sudanese community, for lack of a better term.
Facts.
Which is a completely different experience as far as the Black American experience, or the foundational Black American experience, for lack of a better term. So, I do agree. I think it should be if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. You know, if we're going to have freedom of speech, everybody should be able to say what they want to say and keep it moving. You know what I mean? I think a lot of things are said to be provocative. Obviously, that whole panel was about being provocative and saying it as a way to anger black folks, or, you know, trigger black folks into doing something or crashing out at the end of the day by using this word. Not to say that the word doesn't have a horrible history to it. Thanks. But just to say we're trying to save America, this is our country, blah blah blah. You know, you guys were property. Now you guys getting all this DEI and rights and stuff like that. We can go on and on with this stuff like that, man. But you know, preservation and you know, you have a lot of people white folks who really feel like that. Like, you know, birth rates are dwindling. You know, we're losing our jobs to other people, and you know, this country, man, in the next 50 years is going to be a completely different country, man.
Facts. You
know, for sure. But just getting you guys' thoughts on that. You know what I mean? We got Jason as a third panelist here
in the building, man.
See, baby.
So I was listening, and I wanted to jump on the whole restaurant thing. And then you come in here bringing this all serious topic in here.
Right?
Oh, somber. I was in here ready to crack jokes and had some funny stories, man.
Yeah.
Hurry up and buy.
Say again?
Hurry up and buy.
Hurry up and buy. I'm a rewind, though, about the restaurant. I have a relative, and I hate going out to eat with this person. And I'm going to say this person because that person might actually peep the channel. They will send food back several times. It is so embarrassing. Like, hey, can you send this back? This is not cooked like I like it. Or can you send this back? It needs more seasoning. I don't like the way it tastes. He keeps sending food back. I said, he keeps sending food back. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to eat here now because I have no idea what they done did. You keep sending food back. And so, because it's logical, like, hey, if you antagonize the restaurateur and you're going to eat what they are giving you, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Right.
Okay. So with this situation here, with the whole pay early, buy now, whatever, I would have just walked out. Like, you don't. And this is, in my opinion, a lot of this triggering is really on you. And again, like I use the example, me and Quentin have had conversations before where I think we may have triggered each other, if you will, and gotten upset, but we don't like lose our minds. It's like, okay, well, I need to be mature enough and handle with whatever he's saying. I need to process it like an adult. I ain't got to go flip off and go crazy and vice versa. But in that situation right there, if you see that the restaurateur does not want you, or you don't feel like the restaurateur wants you, you literally have the power to stand up, take your stuff, and walk out the door. If you need to give them a couple bucks because you drank some water, or you ordered a Coke, go on and give them that and then keep it pushing.
Section chocolate.
Right. And you just go. You don't have to be there. And I personally think that, to the point that you were making, JR, about certain word usage, what was his name? Mark Lamont Hill was talking about how he's a victim when the woman was going to use the N-word. Sir, you're not a victim. No, it's just a word. Right. I don't agree with the word. I don't use the word. I think it's an ignorant word, and I don't think that people use it. But if you use it, I just say, oh, that's just you. I'm not a victim of the word. Like, the word didn't do anything to me. Show me where the word hurt you, Jason. It didn't do anything to me. Just, you don't have to flip out because somebody uses the N-word. On the same note, the person don't got to use the N-word, but that's beside the point. And I think people don't realize that they are accountable and they have much more power than they really realize. You have the power to walk out of the restaurant. You got the power to look at that blonde chick, because she has another YouTube, a Twitter post I saw this morning where she is just going in. Yeah. I mean, N-word left to right. I'm like, am I listening to NWA 90210? Like, what is this? Yeah. It is the craziest thing. Like, she just, whoa, wow. I don't even use it like that when I did. But I said, but you know what? I have the right to just click it off. I was trying to find it, but apparently I didn't even pay attention long enough to even get captured in my Twitter. So that's the thing. I ain't got to flip out and go off on every blonde chick I see today. I just saw it. I'm like, wow, she is wild. Okay. I didn't realize this was the girl from Piers Morgan until now. Just put it together. But my point is, there's a level of accountability and self-responsibility I think we all need to take. Get up and walk out of the restaurant. If you don't feel like somebody's respecting you, JR ain't respecting me, I got to go. I'll let you, bro. Quentin is acting a fool. He don't like my Subaru Wilderness Edition. Holla at you, bro. I got to go. Got on my bumper stickers. But anyway, or you using a word that I don't like. I ain't got to flip out the word. I can leave from your presence. I can say, no, JR, I don't like how you say that. Right. It's all good. Okay, that's it.
Definitely. You got the power as a customer and a consumer to get your ass up out of there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not going to support you. That's you have the choice. You're not forced. But some people have to make a scene and have to have a viral moment. So I get it. You just put them on blast, and you do have the power to destroy somebody's business also.
Yeah. To the point, like you were saying about Frontier, because that was the initial. I feel like those ladies were totally out of pocket. Now, granted, I like Quentin used the yellow flag, the yellow card, and the red card. By the way, thank you, because I've never understood that when I've been watching soccer. I didn't understand what the yellow and red cards are. Thank you, because I picked it up like I got it. That made sense. So I definitely would have gave the man a yellow card. I think he could have definitely put his hat in his hand. I don't know if he came in there, with his hat in his hand, like, hey, I know I'm late or whatever like that. But those women were totally out of range. There's no way to resolve that. So, but again, there's a level of like self-responsibility that they take. Like, hey, let me just get this guy out of here. She ain't got to be antagonizing him. You ain't gonna make me. You ain't gonna make me.
What you're not gonna do.
What you're not gonna do is make me. Like, that's crazy. So no, I got you, man.
Indeed, man. Well said. So, I know it was like you said, we had a pretty upbeat.
Yeah, man, I'm driving fast.
Jovial thing, but I just happened to see it, and I figured I'd just get on that tip or whatever, and just throw that little remix in there. But we gonna switch it up, get up off these clips, man, and talk about some stuff that's going on in the news here. More so, me and Quentin, me and Mr. Watts, we're talking about this whole trans troops thing. And trans troops being chaptered out of the military with this new policy here, which I'm assuming is going to be a medical chapter or discharge for those of you who aren't familiar with the military. We call it being chaptered out or discharged or whatever. So, under this new policy, I guess the first 1,000, they're in the process of doing that right now. And I think with that being said, also everyone else has 30 days to identify, because they're currently using the medical records to do this, to identify what's called gender dysmorphia. aka those who are trans and whatnot. So a former veteran, or my veteran here, not former veteran, Mr. Watts, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's like, well, like, and the reason I'm saying I don't know, and you'll probably get where I'm going with this, is like, in a way, part of me wants to know what the MOS is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're in supply or logistics or whatever, I kind of don't care. You know what I mean? Like, whatever hormonal things and all of that stuff, I don't know how much that's going to affect your ability to issue uniforms and blah, blah, blah. But then if we're talking about, frontline infantry, I don't know what all of these treatments and stuff, I mean? I don't know how that's going to affect both biologically and psychologically out in the field, which is why my original answer is I don't know, given the information I have. Like, I don't know if this is just, and it sounds like it's just like across board. Like, we don't care what the MOS is, what you're doing, you out. I don't know if I agree. Oh, I'm so sorry. MOS is your job. It's just what your job is.
Military occupational specialty.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So I'm assuming it doesn't matter what your job is. It's just like you're out. In that instance, I don't know if I wholeheartedly agree with it, because if we're already having troop shortages, and again, like I said, if we're talking about supply, logistics, intel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things that really don't involve you, quote unquote, suiting up and getting out there
versus combat arms.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then I don't know what the harm is in having, quote unquote, said individuals there. That's my piece of it.
Gotcha.
But like I said, I can get it if we're talking infantry.
Yeah, and combat arms and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's different standards, as we know, for male and female in the military as far as your physical fitness level.
It was. Yeah. Pistol
Pete
Pete just changed that. Pistol Pete just made it the same across the board,
It is?
baby. Yes.
Yeah, I'm so far behind, man. I guess because I've been out for 13 years. Damn, it's been
No. Well, what I'm saying is, this just happened. Pete Hegseth just did this. That's not something that's been around like since you've been out and you missed it. It just happened like the past month.
Right.
That they changed their PT requirements. Yeah.
And so this is for what branch though?
I don't know if that's the whole, maybe the whole thing. Matter of fact, let me look. You continue talking and I'll look it up.
Yeah,
but
either.
just like on in sports, the same thing, right? So when we get into traditionally in the military, well, I'm going to speak from the Army standpoint, but I'm pretty sure all branches have different requirements based upon your sex, right? Males have to run a mile, 2 miles in this time
14
frame.
minutes. Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on your age group, because it all goes off your age group as well. So your age and sex determine the minimum requirement for to pass.
Right now, the update is for the Army.
Yeah.
He
So,
upgraded.
So when I joined, for example, which is not the hardest thing, but when I joined, I was 17. So we had to run 2 miles in like 15 minutes, 53 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You had to do 42 push-ups, and you had to do 52 sit-ups. 52 sit-ups.
Mm-hmm.
That was the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all you had to do. I think females had like almost 19 minutes to run 2 miles. Sit-ups are the same, because I guess science shows that women's ab muscles are the same, or their ability, their abdominal is just as strong as a man. So they had the same as far as sit-ups. And I think push-ups, they only had to do like 12 or something like that.
Wow.
So that's that. But when you get into obviously what I identify as, even though you were born this way, you still have the capacity to be able to perform in that sex that you were born into. You know what I mean? So if you are biologically a man and you're only required to run 19 minutes and do 12 push-ups or whatever it was,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And that's getting the, because you get, in the Army, you get the PT badge, which is a 300, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically that helps with promotion. That helps out with your NCOER, OER, whatever have you, based upon that. So there's a lot of different nuances with this. But we talk about, I guess, the whole readiness of it, which I don't want to get too much into this because a lot of this stuff is very controversial in terms of the mental health aspect of it. But using the medical record. So if they're getting medically chaptered out, you know, I know it's not the best, but that is, you know, something that didn't exist previously. Then it was allowed during the, I guess, the Obama administration ushering into, you know, Kamala and Good Buddy.
For sure.
But, yeah. So this is, I guess it all comes down to readiness. You know, readiness. And when you look at this country as a whole, and not saying that, you know, you can't aim and fire a weapon or qualify a weapon because you're a woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that has anything to do with it at all. You can't push a button. You can't shoot a mortar or anything like that. You still have the ability to do that. But as far as physically, it's just certain things or a lot of things that men can do that women just aren't built for.
Like drag JR?
Like what?
Drag JR.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that? Drag JR?
Like drag your body.
Oh, drag me, physically drag. I'm sitting over there thinking about some other shit. Yeah. Like physically, like drag. Like you can't be out there operating for like weeks at a time. There's other biological implications of a woman. You know what I mean? That, you know, things happen, you know, but the physical strength of a man and being able to, you know, go out there and ruck and
I was gonna say full ruck.
You know, it's completely different, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just getting it because I saw that pop up.
No, that's a good catch. I have some opinions about it, but I respect that I did not serve.
Right.
And so I recognize that you all know much more of the intricacies than I do. So I take your I humbly submit to your wisdom.
Indeed, man. But in other news, man, have you guys heard of this heard about this film Shooting Guards?
I don't know if I have.
This documentary, excuse me.
What is this?
So you guys are familiar with who Gilbert Arenas is. So Gilbert Arenas had a you know, he's been controversial, you know, for a while since he came into the NBA. But you know, now he has a podcast, and I think he's married to Melly Monaco. If you guys are familiar with who Melly Monaco is, she's another content creator. And you know, probably 15 something years ago, or probably longer than that, when he was playing for the Wizards, there was a young man out of Atlanta named Javaris Crittenden, right? And this is when they were playing for the Wizards, and this documentary kind of explains the backstory leading up to, you know, the downfall of Javaris Crittenden. And at one time, basically, Gilbert Arenas was, I don't want to call it hazing, but he's a big jokester in the locker room. So it came to the point where, you know, this guy was a rookie on the team, or, you know, he just got to the team, Javaris Crittenden, and he was trying that with him, or they got into an argument, you know, flying back from a game or whatever. And Gilbert Arenas actually brought guns to the locker room because he basically threatened to shoot him or whatever. So he said, well, I'll bring the guns. You know what I mean? I'll bring the guns for you to shoot me. So he brings some guns to the locker room, leaves it on this guy's chair where he sits at by his locker. This guy, who was Crip affiliated at the time, when he was in LA, he comes with his own gun or whatever. And then, you know, they're going back and forth, and this information gets leaked to the press, and David Stern has to handle it, who was the commissioner of the NBA at the time.
Wow. And
he suspends both of them for 50 games, right? And in essence, basically gets rid of
Crittenden.
Yeah, Crittenden, because he's brand new, which he goes into a down spiral and, you know, goes back to Atlanta where he's from, and some things happen, and he ends up, you know, taking a young lady's life by accident. And it's very weird because I guess a lot of people didn't know the story, but they knew about the whole situation with the guns way back when. But,
I didn't know the details. I just remembered the big suspension. So you schooling me on exactly what happened. What's the name of this again?
Yeah, it's called Shooting Guards. It's on Netflix. It's a real good doc. It's a little over an hour. It's like an hour and 2 minutes. And it just goes to show, between peer pressure, depression. It touches on a lot of themes, bullying, I guess, and just not having direction, and basically coming back. And I guess the part about him being from Atlanta and coming back to, was it Cleveland Ave? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Jason went.
Is that Southwest? Or
yeah, that's down there by the airport, man.
Yeah,
that's the infamous Cleveland Avenue that you're hearing Young Thug, man. That's all Zone 4.
Right. I think Mr. Let Go, he said he's from Cleveland Ave. If I remember.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was from down here. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's from Cleveland Ave. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it gets into all that, and it was a sad story, just how how it went down, and then you get into the corruption of Fulton County DA at the time, who just so you guys know, what's my man's name? Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's from Atlanta. I didn't know that.
Paul Howard was the old DA, but
Howard,
Dwight Howard is from here too, y'all.
Right. So Dwight Howard and Javaris went to school together. They played on the same team at the same time. So basically, they're saying the corruption of how, and if you watch the film, I don't want to give it all away, but if you watch it, you'll see the involvement of that. What's his name? Howard? What Howard?
Paul Howard.
You'll see that how he plays a part, or allegedly plays a part, per the detectives of Atlanta PD. One of the guys from the First 48, that Hispanic guy. If you guys have ever watched First 48, there's like a Hispanic detective that's like on all the episodes, and he says that that was some some BS that went on with the whole Paul Howard or whatever. So it's a very good film. I recommend you guys check it out. And you guys that are watching it, if you guys have watched it, comment below what you thought about it. Shooting Guards with Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenden. But just how quickly your life can spiral out just by making a simple decision through peer pressure, depression, things like that. When you have everything, and it's just going like that. So, and then Gil kind of basically, admitted his part in the whole situation and whatnot. But it's a crazy documentary, man. Crazy documentary.
Check it out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. I know that really covering sports and entertainment at the same time right there.
Right.
I don't think there's much going on, man. As far as we were talking about movies and whatnot. They have these that I was telling you about: Shadow Force, Fight or Flight, and Clown in a Cornfield. But I don't know anything of that. I know Final Destination, I think, is coming out, which I'm looking forward to seeing that next week.
I did see something about that, like Bloodlines or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm definitely, I think that's the only one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'll check that out when it comes out.
You know what I mean? But and you were talking about some stuff in finance, as far as, was it REITs?
Oh yeah. Forgot about that. We've been on all of this serious stuff.
Yeah.
In the world of finance, we try to give you a couple of minutes of finance on the wake up with wisdom in the morning. Let me get my share together. How you
doing that? Yeah, I kind of threw that out of left field and talking about.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Y'all know Mr. Wisdom is also a real estate man as well.
Is he a crypto bro?
No, I don't know if he's a crypto bro, but we know he about that real estate. And so I wanted to share a little something about real estate investment that is not what is traditionally looked at when it comes to real estate investment. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
No, Nigel.
Not yet. All right. So many of you guys may have seen this commercial before and skipped it, or maybe watched it because it's entertaining, but it pops up on YouTube. I'm gonna let about 1.5 minutes of it play, and then I'm gonna explain what it is and how you could possibly utilize it. All right, let it go.
About the breed. Indubitably. And you are?
Oh, don't worry. I'm basically one of you now.
How did you get in here? This soiree is for fancy real estate investors only.
Okay, but I am a real estate investor.
But where's your vaguely British accent?
Yes, the accent a person gets from years of generational wealth.
I actually didn't grow up wealthy. In fact, I still rent. I rent and invest through Roots. It's the first real estate investment fund that builds wealth for investors and residents.
Do I have to rent to invest?
No, anyone can invest through Roots for as little as $100.
Oh, so the same as the price of a gallon of milk.
No, definitely not the price of milk.
I meant human milk.
Before Roots, I was living paycheck to paycheck. Yoink? Come on, did you have to say yoink? And while I was struggling to get ahead, my savings account just sat there, doing nothing, gaining 0.4% interest. I could get more interest from my cat. Hey, Mr. Flophead. Hey, Mr. Flophead. Look, no. Come on. I thought I had to be like super rich to be able to grow my own money or take volatile risks like invest in cryptocurrency.
I lost my yacht to crypto.
Roots gives people like me the ability to participate in the real estate market, all while having a bigger impact on my wallet and the community.
I know real estate, and you won't be able to touch those returns for years. Even then, it all depends on selling and refinancing.
I mean, you probably have to wait years to withdraw your investment, but with Roots, I have liquidity options. I can withdraw part or all of my investment every 3 months. And yeah, now I say things like investment and liquidity. And since I love watching my investment grow, I'm not going to take my money out yet, but it's nice knowing I can.
Yes, I hate being told I can't do something. We'll see about that.
All right. All right. Stop sharing there. So what are they talking about?
Tell us.
Just talking about in real estate investment without owning real estate and still renting. All right. So what this is Roots is what they call a REIT. What a REIT is, REITs is short for real estate investment trust. All right. And what this is it's an investment tool that allows you to invest in real estate without actually owning property. Okay. Now, much like anything you're going to do for investment / preparing for retirement, before you get into anything like REITs or even traditional stocks and bonds and all of that stuff, if you have an employer that has a retirement account like 401k set up for you, always maximize those first before you do anything else as far as investments are concerned, because you can invest in your 401k pre-tax before you start paying taxes on it.
Right.
The growth that you get inside of it is tax-free until you withdraw it. So those are advantages, as well as your employer can contribute / match your contribution. So your employment retirement fund is probably your best place to go first before you start, going outside of that. But if you go outside of, your traditional 401k and you want to invest in real estate, but you don't have 800 credit scores, so you can go get a loan for a second home or investment home, because you can't get 100% financing, on a second home, without that, super duper high credit scores, crazy months of reserves. And
right.
You know this as a real estate person. What you can do is you can invest in a REIT. And what REITs do is they sell shares. Okay. So that's why that advertisement says for as little as $100, because you can buy a share for whatever the amount is per. I didn't look at theirs up to see what their amount is per share, but it may be $100 a share or whatever, whatnot. But that's why you can invest in it with as little of it as $100. The advantage of using something like that, as opposed to, like you say, traditional real estate investment, as you have to be prepped for traditional real estate investment. You got to have capital already, and you got to have your credit together. Right. If you're a younger person, and say you're 25, 26, 27, got a good job, just starting out, your expenses are pretty low. You're still renting, and you don't want to buy a bunch of property and get sucked into having monthly payments and stuff like that. This is a good avenue to take as far as being able to to invest in real estate without actually having to own property. And
Gotcha.
the benefits of it is that the shares, quote unquote, make money off of renters, both making the rent payments that the trust own, because they have a portfolio of properties that they end up owning. So the portfolio gains money from both the renters paying their monthly rents, as well as appreciation with the properties themselves that they put into the portfolio as far as appraised values and stuff going up. So anyway, if somebody saw a commercial like that before while watching YouTube and skipped it or didn't know what it was about and thought it was like, it's funny, but this is something that doesn't sound like it really works. How can I invest in real estate with $100? That's how you do it. And that's what it's about.
Very interesting, man. You know, they coming up with all these different, ideas and brainstorming of ways to invest, man. That's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? I definitely need to do more research on that myself. You know, personally.
Well, we're gonna always, we're gonna bring some nuggets. And like Purple Butterfly got in here, investments are risky. Yes, they are. Everything's risky. Relationships are risky. Going to work, getting on the highway is risky. The thing about investments is recognizing what level of risk you're able to take, and also understanding that some investments are riskier than others. So stocks, equities, ETFs, crypto, those have the highest possibilities of return, but they're also the riskiest. So things like bonds, debt, buying debt instruments, those are super safe, but they're probably going to pay about 5%. So that's where the trade-off. If you want a safe investment, it's going to be super long-term, and it's not going to have the ability to grow as much as a stock or an equity, but it's safer. So you're right, Purple Butterfly. There is a trade-off. It's like either you're trying to get safety or you're trying to get maximum returns, or you go for a blended portfolio where you try to do a little bit of both.
Well said, Mr. Watts. Well said. You know what I'm saying? You already signed up yourself?
Oh no, I just saw that last night. And
okay, I didn't know if you had already got it.
That I've been looking at through my studies or what. But I will say this: I am going to, like, once I get back to Denver and all that good stuff, and I get settled in, I am going to follow some programs like maybe Roots, and some stuff old Watkins is up to, and then I'm going to chronicle or journal what happens as I do some of these things so people can see it. So I may get on Robinhood and I may get some shares of Roots and let you guys see what happens with it.
Indeed, man. That sounds like a good idea, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm definitely gonna have to. I appreciate that point, and you guys, you non-risk takers out there, you know.
Trey said having a job is risky.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, being employed, none of that shit is secure.
Yeah,
I think it's secure. You know what I mean? You know, I had to learn that jumping into, you know, having that idea, just the idea of being self-employed or quitting AT&T at the time. You know, and I'm gonna just say this real quick. I've told this story before because I had a very the job I had, it was labor intensive. It wasn't hard in the South Carolina heat,
bro.
And I thought I was.
Was it like fiber optics or something?
Yeah, I was burying fiber optic cable for AT&T, right? And yeah, it wasn't for the faint of heart, man, at all. And you had to be in shape to do it. And I thought I was making a lot when you know, you got people with desk jobs now making that kind of money. But anyway, I had ended up injuring myself one day, and then I took FMLA. Well, I had workers' comp, and I took FMLA after that. And because I was still like not hurting, I was like, I told myself, I said, you know what? Why are you worrying about that? Don't even go back to work. And I made that decision. I think that was September 2019.
Okay.
And I've never had a job since then. You know what I mean, I've never worked for anybody since then.
Yeah.
A better term. So sometimes, man, you just have to make a decision, you know, with certain things and plan it out or plan out the life you want, because you're right. Everything is you know, your company could go belly up tomorrow and you not even know. You know what I'm saying? Or they could go on a firing spree. You know what I'm saying? Seniority, whatever have you. Or, you know, that's how it is, man. And you could be SOL for a while. You know, luckily some of you guys got unemployment and, you know, things like that. But, you know, a lot of this stuff isn't guaranteed, bro. You know, I'm not telling you the entrepreneurship is for everyone, but
yeah.
You know, you got to have a backup plan, man. But yeah, in other news, bro, I know that, you know, we covered a lot of stuff and we're at an hour and 15 minutes, which is, you know, we're talking about some things here. What haven't we touched? Pause. What haven't we talked about today? We talked about entertainment, I guess. You know, gaming is, I don't know what's really going on in the gaming world.
I saw something about I don't know if you or anybody out there is GTA fans. I heard something about it got pushed back again. So a lot of people are bemoaning that.
Yeah.
And it's funny,
trailer, didn't it?
It's what?
They released a trailer.
Yeah. They released the trailer, but they're like, we ain't releasing the game until next year.
Yeah,
and they thought it was gonna come out this year.
You know, a lot of people, you know, gonna be making money off that shit. You know what I'm saying?
As far as the delay?
No, just that when the game is released.
Come on,
you know
bro.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with all these different little missions and whatnot, these online gaming, but yeah.
I also saw and I think you may own this one. They pulled Evil Dead from the stores already. It only been out like 3 years, and they pulled it from the stores. They didn't shut the servers down.
Yeah.
But if they pulled it from the store, I don't know how long the server's gonna be up. So I think I might actually play it now.
Yeah.
The service might go down.
I couldn't get jiggy with it, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna try the solo stuff, like because mostly the game is that kind of that group play, like that 4 versus 1 stuff, and it's like I kind of don't really get in. Like my daughter like those Dead by Daylight.
I couldn't get into it.
For the games, but it's got a single mission part.
The campaign,
that follows the movie. So I think I'm gonna try that.
I couldn't get jiggy with the campaign, man.
Oh, really? I'm gonna try the campaign. I'm gonna try the campaign.
I couldn't get jiggy with it, and you know, I know those guys, those people who do like playing, like you say, the group type thing. That you know, all those games where you gotta survive and shit like that. Like my boys were into that stuff, but I just couldn't get jiggy with the campaign, man. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that Onimusha. I think it's coming out the 23rd or the 27th. Something like that. Was that next week?
It's next weekend. It's the 23rd, I think. Yeah.
So and you know, we got a few movies, summer blockbusters. You know, all the blockbusters come out this summer. But yeah, man, this is we had a stacked lineup today, I guess, of, you know, things to discuss. You know,
got a lot in on a Friday.
Jason had to check out. You know, he had fell off not too long ago. So he sent me a message. I got your message, Jason. He sent me a private message here. So, you know, we got that going. I'm gonna click off. Oh yeah. So closing out, man. I'm just, for all of those people in Atlanta, I told you we got some events for those of you. I'm gonna try to, for those of you who want to come to Atlanta, all you ladies looking to be, you know, booty clappers, that want to move to Atlanta, you know, I'm gonna cover some events, or people that are new like me looking to get into, or people who already live in Atlanta, like you, Mr. Watts. You know, you may be interested in some of these events.
I don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm just saying you might find one of these interesting though.
Facts. I got you.
Let's pull these up for those of you who are in Atlanta and interested to see what's going on this weekend. Here's a list of things going on. So let's go ahead and I don't know if I can actually. I'll pull us. Let's put us back up here. And you guys probably can't see it too well, or maybe you can, depending on what you're watching it on. You know, so the 8th through the 11th, we got at the Scott Antique Market. You know where that's at?
Nope.
Atlanta Expo Center. You got something going on. You know, the 9th, which is today, through the 11th, you got Peach Party Atlanta at the Hilton Garden Inn. On the 10th, and this is Mother's Day weekend for the.
That's right.
You know, Roswell Taco and Tequila Crawl, downtown Roswell. It's on the 10th. Atlanta OMG Food Festival, Atlantic Station. Well, that's tomorrow. Okay.
All right, we know where that's at.
Yeah. Master Gardener Garden Tour, Marietta and Cobb County. And then you got M2R Trail Fest, downtown Marietta. Then you got the 04 W5K, historic Old Fourth Ward.
No, I ain't walking or running.
Then you got the 10th through the 11th, Dunwoody Art Festival, Dunwoody Village Parkway. The 10th through the 11th, Sweet Auburn Spring Fest. I always heard about those Sweet Auburn situations. So shout out to everybody. I may check one of them out.
The Sweet Auburn joints?
Sunday, yeah, the Spring Fest. Because I didn't make the that's every quarter, right? Don't they have that like every quarter? That's what I heard. I mean, I heard it's like every quarter. You guys in the chat can correct me. Then you have Chastain Park Spring Arts Festival, which is at Chastain Park. So that's what's going on in Atlanta this weekend. I'm pretty sure there's other stuff, tons of other stuff, but just based off of food, wine, and music festivals that are going on, or some of them that are going on in Atlanta this weekend, if you guys want to check those out, you know. So with that being said, you know, it's been a beautiful day, beautiful live stream here. I need to record some content.
Appreciate you having me.
Huh? Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Appreciate you having.
Coming back with another one on Monday, you know, to see what's going on, you know, and hopefully appreciate everybody tuned in, you know, even though it's not where I wanted to be at, but hey, everybody counts, man. Shout out to everybody tuned in.
Start somewhere.
Yeah, you know, you do. You got any final thoughts, Quentin?
I don't, besides everybody enjoying their weekend, celebrate those mothers if you got them in your lives, and be safe out there, man, and enjoy.
Sounds like a plan to me, man. It's almost 11. Damn, we've been on here a while. Sheesh. Hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, so I'm about to get into recording, man, and you know, and we'll catch you guys on Monday. So with that being said, make sure you guys follow the channel, like the video, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to QT Dub's channel, The Independent Mail. It is in the description of the video and in the title of the video, especially you guys on YouTube, you know, because that's the only platform you're on right now is YouTube, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, so Independent Mail on YouTube, you can just type that in. If you guys are watching on Facebook or Twitch, just type in The Independent Mail on YouTube, it'll pop up. And yeah, man, that's all I got. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Be great to your moms, and you know, much blessings and abundance, man. We're gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Go ahead and add that outro, and we're out of